Human Consciousness Support is a company that is privately owned by myself. What we have become known for is the first and only company to perform human clinical trials, testing the levels of environmental toxins as well as what's now known as harmful ingredients in the vaccinations.
MasterPeace delivers the sea plasma minerals to the blood and cellular levels, to the exact areas where the toxins are, then uses zeolite to bind the toxins and carry them out, so your cells are energized, alkalized, and toxin-free.
My name's Jesse Beltran. I'm the current president of an organization where our brand is Mind Nexus Live. I've been one of the leading investigators with the phenomenon called Havana Syndrome or anomalous health incidences. I have been covering this since 2010. I am currently a certified technical counter surveillance measures expert. I have been the lead in doing what is called nonlinear junctions scanning on individuals. And this process started in the United States, initially starts with an RF detection, and then we verify it with a nonlinear junction depending on our findings. And basically what we're finding is those who are symptomatic were lighting up at very specific focal areas around the human body and coming up positive for whatever reason for semiconductive or silicon-based materials in those areas. And that's what the nonlinear junction detector is designed to do. And we've recently started a study where we're testing non-symptomatic individuals here in the United Kingdom. They are also lighting up in those same areas as the symptomatic individuals. And that had not been the case prior to that jab. Prior to the jab, those who were non-symptomatic, almost 100% of the time, came up negative. They were coming up pretty much what I would expect a symptomatic person to come up positive. Very high, a lot of areas around the human body hitting at 100%, where the nonlinear junction detection indicated there was silicon-based materials. They had been put on a test basis or a trial basis of Zeolite Z or the MasterPeace product. And quite frankly, I was really surprised coming here and doing the secondary exam on these individuals who participated in the testing. There was significant reduction in the areas that were lighting up.
So the results have been absolutely phenomenal and actually better than we could ever have expected. An average reduction across the board so far, and we've got one more day of test results coming in, of 80% reduction of these radio frequencies coming off people's bodies. We've had personal reductions of some people of 98%, but on the whole, it's around about an 80% reduction.
This is why, for the first time in 20 years, 15 years specifically, out in the public, that I've supported anything out there. And so this is quite promising. Yesterday was very emotional for me because I never thought that I would see this. I can tell you 100% of the time post-COVID, I've not tested anyone who did not come up positive in the right, left TMJ, the dorsum, occipital portion, and the base of their neck. And for the first time after they've been on this trial, they are not lighting up. And we are seeing anywhere from 75 to 85% reduction in the findings. And this is quite frankly incredible.
My name's Peter. I'm 64, and I heard about the trial, the test through my wife Iris, and I thought it was a very good thing to get into and try and see the results, especially with what's going on in the world today. When we met the team, we was tested for the conductors in the body. So for the protocol, what they recommended, they gave us these little bottles of the drops. So we took them twice a day for duration of a couple of months. It was quite easy, very easy to take. No issues, no side effects, nothing whatsoever. It's just very, very easy to take. And the results were, what word is amazing.
In January 2021, I got something called long COVID. which hit me very, very hard. And for a good couple of years, I tried everything to try and figure out what to do to resolve it. And so when I heard a little bit about the study and how it's useful for people who have taken the vaccine, and it was generally good for, I guess, removing toxins and other things that shouldn't be in your body, that piqued my interest a little bit. And I was like, I want to try this. I've tried many things, but I've not always been consistent with things. But with this, I don't know, it was just easy to do. I think in the days after I started taking it, I felt I was detoxing. It really felt like there were things being captured and removed. So I felt really, really good. I don't know when it started, but at a point, I started dreaming very vividly and very often. I did feel like I had lost a bit of weight, but again, in a good way, weight that maybe wasn't desirable, maybe was, fatty, not desirable. I play a little bit of sport. I noticed that I was playing a lot better. I just felt like I was perceiving the game a lot better. I was performing a lot better. And it happened one week, and I was just like, wow, maybe it was something I ate, maybe I was just hydrated or something. And then it happened the next week, and it happened the next week, and I was just like, something has changed.
I was skeptical because I don't believe anything until I see it, but the results were absolutely extraordinary. I think the amount of energy that I've had has been the biggest difference overall. I've definitely not felt a slump in the middle of the day, and it's felt much more consistent from when I'm up in the morning to when I'm ready to go to bed at night. I've definitely had more energy. I've definitely been sleeping much more soundly. I've had much more vivid dreams, which I'd never had before in my life. And generally feeling more upbeat and happy. Now I just feel so much more enthusiastic when I'm up and about that I will make the time to do the things that I enjoy.
I noticed that things become very clear to me, the clarity of everything. My decision making was quick. State of mind was quick. Sleep patterns becoming even better. I mentioned and commented to Iris, my wife, that I was sleeping better and the quality of sleep was better, which was good. Decision making was easy.
We have these things inside our bodies that we're unaware of, and to find out that the product can improve it by that amount is significant. Yeah, makes you feel good.
So this is the process. What we're dealing with is what my responsibility at the first is to protect the formulation patent, which we've done with international and domestic formulation patents. Natural products, they do not, you can't patent things that are from nature. So when you're dealing with natural products like this one, you have to patent the formulation process. What we have here is enough for 2 full batches of the best nano zeolite, nano-sized zeolite coated with minerals formula on Earth. What this is going to do is this is going to provide the carrier into the body with the minerals, and is going to be also responsible for grabbing the toxins out of the body as it displaces and releases those minerals as it carries those toxins out of the body. So this is where the process starts. This gentleman's name is Dino. We have entered into quite a relationship here, so he has been incredible to work with. You have to really work with a very integrity-driven production and fulfillment center that is going to be handling the manufacturing and the shipping of products. You want it to be a turnkey because in America, when we're dealing with FDA and CGMP compliant facilities and whatnot, there's a lot of owners of these facilities that go out of their way to use every type of trick of the book to copycat formulas, use them in their own product lines and that stuff, and it's very hard to get around that. We are very blessed because Dr. Robert Oldham Young provided us the Dino's information and said this is this is the guy. So we're very blessed here. What we see is one of the first pieces of equipment here that is responsible for this initial process of nano-sizing down the clinoptilolite zeolite. Once this is nano-sized and smaller than nano, sub-nano sized down, we're then going to be moving this over to the next phase, which is adding it into the rest of the formula. So I'll let Dino kind of explain how long of a process it is and what it takes to be able to do this where it's above board.
Hi, I'm Dino. This is a nano zeolite formulant. Zeolite is a very, very hard mineral. And so it takes a lot to break this down. So this is two full batches of concentrated nano zeolite. This took almost 48 hours to make. Literally to make 800 milliliters of this product took over 48 hours in process. In a vented hood, it's OSHA, fully regulated hood. You're in our lab right now here at Planet One. We do FTIR testing on incoming, so we ensure that the zeolite is what it's supposed to be before we even use it in formulation. We also have HPLC, so we can test on potency. We do all APC here, meaning that we check for bacteria, fungus, mold, yeast and mold, E. coli. We do that all in-house. And so everything is tested prior to going into the next phase. So this was the first phase. This is tested, verified. It's tested when the raw material comes in and everything that goes into it, including the sea minerals, which are part of this process. This is a very, very alkaline product. At the end of the day, it ends up at a 9.5 pH. It starts out at a 5, 5.5. So we do special processes to get this into alkalinity. This is complicated, not easy to do. We are full GMP certified. We have an OTC license for OTC drug manufacturing here. So we're very, very highly regulated, and we take it very seriously. We are driven by standard operating processes. We are driven by testing and third-party testing. This will go into a third-party lab and will be available on the websites for MasterPeace. We are GMP certified. Being GMC certified by NSF is the highest regulation you can get as far as certification for making dietary supplements and natural ingredients. Our facility environmentally is tested and regulated. We are tested for incoming testing of raw materials. We are regulated for in-processes, for cleaning procedures. We have to validate our cleaning of our tanks, of our grinders, of our screens, of everything that we do, from our beakers to our dropettes. Everything has to be verified. The cleaning processes are done properly. Environmentally, we have to make sure that our facilities are clean. We have a very low humidity here, and our temperature remains pretty constant in Ventura. That's why we're in Ventura, California, because the environment here stays very, very steady. We don't have fluctuations in humidity like Florida or Texas, where it becomes much more difficult to regulate your environment. Our environment stays the same. We have full ventilation systems here. We have 2 full ventilation systems here, suck out all the air, so we have no cross-contamination, which is very, very important. And the other thing that's extremely important is traceability. We have traceability of our raw materials all the way from the time it comes in, gets tested on FTIR, goes into the finished product, goes to you and in that finished bottle all the way until that bottle is consumed. We have traceability of every single raw material that goes into it. This is the highest standard of testing you can get. When you're talking about proprietary blends and you come to Planet One, your proprietary blends are kept very strict. When you're talking about individual ingredients, those are very, very difficult because a lot of people want those individual ingredients. So individual ingredients, you know, I make multiple products for individual ingredients, but when you're talking about formulations, especially specific formulations like this, these will not be replicated. So I started manufacturing dietary supplements in 95, 96. I've had multiple facilities, GMP facilities, OTC licenses, made skin care, hair care, body care, capsules, tablets, powders, liquids, liquid drinks, liquid extracts. I've run the full gamut of products in the natural space and manufacturing them. For now, over 30 years, almost 40 years I've been doing this. running large facilities. I've done a lot of consulting on FDA consulting of different labs, building SOPs, building their standard operating processes, making sure that they're in compliance on their cleaning, their validations, their supplier validations. All of these things are very, very important to have a high quality product, and these are all GMP requirements that are very, very strict, and you have to maintain those. So to get a GMP certificate, you have to be very versed on how to do this. It's not simple. It's not for the weak of heart, and it's very strict. So we are highly regulated. You know, this is not product made in a garage or in somebody's bathtub. If you're made in a garage, you're not going to get a GMP certificate. You're not going to be GMP. You have to have clean facilities that can come in, they can audit, they can review your processes, and they do. And they go through all the paperwork, and they go through in the fine-tooth comb. So I've been doing this for a long time, very versed at it, run a very tight machine because I have to. But we make product for a host of companies all over the world. We ship all over the world. We fulfill all over the world. And I'm very proud of what we do. I love what I do. I work every day and vigorously to bring the highest quality product to the market that we possibly can. What motivates me is having product from my family. You know, I want product for myself that's the best product possible. So you build these facilities to do that. Because without doing that, you don't know what's going into the product. I can tell you that there's products that comes here all the time from big manufacturers. It's tested, it doesn't test out, viscosities aren't right, pHs aren't right, smells not right, it breaks apart, active ingredients aren't there on third-party testing. And it's pretty common in this space. So that's the reason why I do this, is I want to make sure the product is as best it can possibly be. Now, you're talking about raw materials, you're talking about natural products. You can have heavy metals in them. Like for instance, beetroot, potatoes, anything that comes from the ground. It's going to have levels of lead because the lead seeps out of the soil. It's in the soil. So if you're looking for a parts per million of lead, don't eat potatoes, don't eat carrots, don't eat beets. But they're not testing those because the farmers would go out of business. The grocery stores couldn't sell potatoes, they couldn't sell onions, they couldn't sell, because there's so much lead in them. Just one potato has more lead than is what is legal in the state of California. But nobody's testing that. They're just testing the dietary supplements. So ginseng root, Cascara sagrada, beetroot. These are very, very valuable ingredients. Beetroot for the liver, Cascara sagrada for the blood and for cleaning out the bowel. What he's going to do now is we're going to structure. So this is a zeolite. Now what we're going to do is we're going to structure this material. So we're going to squeeze it down to its lowest possible particle size. This is blended in a 55-gallon drum. So this has been mixed with the zeolite concentrate that I showed you in the lab earlier. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this liquid and we're going to squeeze it. We're going to squeeze it to a small particle size. So we're going to be pumping it through the pump and squeeze it out of a particle size.
This is one of the most exciting processes there is when we're dealing with a natural organic formulation process, to be able to take something that is a nano-sized, a nano-colloidal formula, and be able to turn it into what would be called a monomolecularized or structured final formula, which essentially means it's going to have a much greater surface charge, which equates to an electrical charge, which equates to the body receiving electrons, which we all know as energy. What we're going to watch is something we're not going to be able to see with our eyes, but the end product is the reason why this works like no other products that we've seen before. This is why the third-party testing, human clinical studies that we've performed testing various toxins levels are blowing every expert's mind, every hair test expert, every urinalysis and blood test, a person who's read charts on forever chemicals, or when people feel like they've been poisoned, they go see a chelation specialist. And this is the type of product that everybody and everybody's family needs to use. We are literally going to watch how Master Solargy is created. This is going to take the formula and put in, it's like natural steroids. This is about to give it the power that no other product we've seen has been able to have.
Okay, let's check the pH. So what we're going to show you right now is this is an alkaline product. So it's going to test above 9. And this is before we actually structure it. Yeah. So you can see it's still going up as he runs the pH meter in it, but we've got a 909. This will get up over time to a 9.5. But you can see in real time exactly that we have an alkaline product here. Now what you're seeing here is the process of structuring this product. So we have these pucks, and the pucks are filled with the bottle. The bottle comes down the conveyor, and the conveyor then fills the liquid. 35 to 40 bottles a minute, and then the dropper is put on. Then it goes onto the labeler. It's date coded in yellow ink for lot number and date code for and EXP for traceability all the way to finished good.